Introduction and Overview. Hello, my name is Mark Diaz, and I will be your instructor for this course. We noticed that there are a lot of free tutorials and even complete courses that teach you how to use Adobe Illustrator, but we also noticed only a few of them focus on character design. So we decided to create a course with a bonus tutorial that teaches you all the essentials of Illustrator that you will need when designing characters. All the basic interface and navigations, all the essential panels, then the drawing tools, what tools to use if you have a Wacom tablet, or for those who don't have a drawing tablet, then what tools to use when designing with a mouse. After learning all the basic drawing tools, we will dive into painting, how to create a color palette, and then how to use the Live Paint feature. This course has many exercises that you can follow to understand every bit of knowledge. And after all the tools and panels are understood, you can dive into a bonus module we included in which we guide you through a technique called overshoot drawing technique. It covers how to take any sketch drawn on paper or digitally and then turn it into a finished professional illustration that you can include into your portfolio. Okay, let's jump right into the first lesson in which I will show you how to get Adobe Illustrator. See you there. Downloading Illustrator. Okay, welcome to this lesson. For those of you who already have Adobe Illustrator installed in your system, then just mark this lesson as completed and move on to the next one. Okay? Nice. Off you go then. See you later. Bye. Okay, now we are alone, aren't we? Okay, let's see how to get Adobe Illustrator. You need to open your browser. Any internet browser will do. I'm using Chrome and I'm on a Windows PC. Just type adobe.com and you're there. From there, go to Menu, select See All, and from there, find Adobe Illustrator and click on Download Trial. After that, Adobe Illustrator will start downloading to your computer and then you will just need to install it. Great! You will have 30 days, which is more than enough to learn how to use it with this course. Once you have everything installed, I'll see you on the next lesson. Setting up the workspace. Okay, so I have Adobe Illustrator open. I won't go into much detail because you can learn all there is to know about this software by going to the Help menu and either clicking on Illustrator Help or Illustrator Support Center. Having said that, I will cover all you need to know to design characters. So for anyone new to Illustrator, this will be an overview of the interface. All the savvy users can just mark this lesson as completed and skip on to the next one. Now for the beginners, let me introduce you. Illustrator, this is my awesome student. Awesome student, this is Illustrator. Now, with formalities out of the way, let me show you a bit of the interface. This panel is the Tools panel. From here, we pick tools like the selection tool, the pencil for drawing, the text to add some text, and to the right of the screen, we have other panels that are collapsed. If you want to expand them, just click on each, and if you hover the mouse over one of the icons, you can see that its name shows up. For example, this one is the color panel. I click on it and it expands it. You can just click on each panel to show it. Now, if this is your first time, don't worry, we will only learn the essentials to get you started using this software to design your characters. We will only use 4 panels. The Tools panel, which is already there on the left, the Layers panel, the Swatches panel, and the Transparency panel. Let's set the workspace. I go to Window menu and select Layers. This one shows right here, but I need it to be available the whole time. For that, I just click and drag, and now this panel is floating. Now I click and drag from where it says Layers and drag it all the way to the left until you see this blue line showing. This is where the panel will expand to. I release the mouse and there. I have the panel expanded and accessible forever and ever, happily ever after. I then go to Window menu and select Swatches. It expands. Now I do the same. I click and drag, and this time I will put it on top of the Layers panel. The bright line is indicating me where this panel will go, so I just drop it on top of the Layers panel. Good. Now I want to have some room for the swatches. I do that with a simple click and drag. And now for the opacity, I don't need to have it expanded the whole time, so I will leave it right there. This is the icon. This is the workspace I will be working on. Let's save it, shall we? You can save the workspace by going to Window menu, Workspace, New Workspace. Then you just type the name you want. I'll name it Eternal Stupidity. You can use whatever name turns you on, so just don't get too excited. That's it for this lesson. Now let me show you one last thing before finishing this lesson. You can move the panels any way you want. For example, I could have the swatches below the layers or move the transparency panel in between the collapsed and the expanded panels. And whenever I want, I can return to my saved workspace. I just go to Window menu, Workspace, and Reset, whatever name you choose. In my case, Reset Eternal Stupidity. And as you can see, on top of this menu, Illustrator shows you the saved workspaces. Now I'll click on my own personalized workspace, the one with the most awesome name ever. Nice, this is exactly the workspace that we set up. Okay, in the next lesson we will start a new project. See you there. Creating a new project. So, to create a new project, I just go to File and select New. This will open the New Document dialog box. From here, we will change only two things, the profile and the resolution. I will click on the profile and select Web. To fully understand everything there is to know about this new document dialog box, you can check the manual. But really, all you need to know is that the one I suggest for designing character is the web profile. And then just change the resolution to 1920 by 1080. Leave the units as pixels and the color mode as RGB, and everything else as is. If you want, you can give it a name. I will leave it as Untitled and press OK. Now we have a new document here. Now you know about panels, how to set your workspace, and how to create new documents. Time to move to the next chapter in this course, in which we will learn the ways to navigate through the workspace, zoom in and zoom out. See you there. Zoom and navigation. Hi, this is Mark Diaz for 2D Animation 101. In this lesson, we will learn about the navigation and zooming inside Illustrator. Okay, first, let's learn about the zooming in and out from the workspace. And this is key because I will be doing it a lot. If I wanted to, for example, maybe retouch a bit the nose on the angry face, and I wanted to zoom in, I can do this slow way. I can move the mouse to the toolbar slowly and carefully, very carefully, and click the zoom tool. Phew, I almost thought I was not gonna make it. And now with the zoom tool selected, I just click on the screen, and on every click, I zoom in until I feel satisfied. What if I need to zoom out? Easy, I just hold Alt and click, and that zooms out on every click. That's one way to zoom in and out. But the way I like to quickly zoom in is by clicking and dragging on the workspace. This selects an area to which I want to zoom in, okay? Like this. And if I release the mouse, I will zoom to that selection. See? And to zoom out, I just Alt and click multiple times. Easy. Anyway, having to go to the toolbar and change the current tool is not the fastest way to do it. I don't like to do things slowly. I prefer to be fast and have more time in my life and do other things. So, another way to zoom in and zoom out without having the zoom tool selected, which is the fastest way, would be with a shortcut. Okay, let me pick the selection tool, which, if I hover the mouse over the tool, will give me the shortcut, letter V. And now, if I wanted to do a zoom in or a zoom out, I would just press the shortcut for the zoom tool, letter Z. And now I can zoom in and out. And then press V to pick the selection tool again. But an even faster way to do it is by pressing and holding another zoom shortcut, Control Space. You see, the cursor changes to the zoom tool. See that? Now it's the selection tool, now is the zoom tool. Now is the selection tool, the zoom tool. Okay, having Control Space pressed, I can click and drag just like with the zoom tool. And then I release when I'm satisfied with my care. Another way to zoom in is by pressing Control Space and then click. This does a little zoom in on each click. And to zoom out, you can press Control Alt Space and click, and it zooms out on each click. And last but not least, you can hold the Alt key and scroll the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. And those are the different ways to zoom in and out in Illustrator. Now, let's have it zoomed in. What if I wanted to move around the workspace? Well, you can use the hand tool, which you can slowly get if you move the mouse all the way to the toolbar and click on the hand tool. Now you move around the workspace with click and drag. But this is the most inefficient way to do it. A better way to do it is by using a shortcut, the spacebar. Look, I press V to pick the selection tool, and if I press and hold the spacebar, the cursor changes to the hand tool. You see? Temporarily changes to the hand tool. And so I can move around through the workspace easily. So, the shortcuts I use all the time are spacebar to temporarily pick the hand tool and Control Space to temporarily pick the zoom tool. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. Now let's learn about the difference between vectors and pixels. If you don't understand the difference, then this is very important to know because Illustrator works with vectors. All the drawing tools use vectors, different than Photoshop, in which all the drawing tools draw pixels. Okay, let's move on to the next lesson. Difference between vectors and pixels. This will be a very quick lesson. The easiest way to explain the difference between vectors and pixels is by zooming in. Check this out. If I zoom in to the left face, I see every detail, super crystal clear. It's like as if the image was on a crazy HD or something. It never loses detail. See? I can zoom in even more and it still looks crystal clear. That's because those are not pixels. Those are vectors. And if I zoom out a bit and move to the right image, I will see an annoying battle between pixels. They are trying to be the best pixel out of the bunch, you see? The sad story is that they all suck. They are not doing teamwork, and so the end result looks crappy. But if I zoom out, both look okay, right? Well, that's the clear difference between pixels and vectors. Both have advantages and disadvantages, but we won't go any deeper. If you want, you can Google it and learn a bit more about pixels and vectors. But for the purpose of this course, you just need to understand that vectors are awesome when you zoom in. And if you zoom in to pixels, they look crappy. Nice. Now let's learn about the different tools we can use inside Illustrator, starting with the selection tools, which are the regular selection tool and the direct selection tool. See you there.